And this, I want you to know too, that this clay is pretty darn wet because I just finished, maybe a month ago, I reclaimed it and did some initial wedging on it and let it sit and homogenize. And so I only just the other day wedged it all up and put it in balls so that I could use it as soon as the sun came out. Stick it to the bat and then gather it up like that. So you've got some here that's not going to allow, especially because on some people throw their spouts where they drill the hole all the way to the bat, and definitely on these little handles you go all the way to the bat. And that means there's less clay hanging on to the bat. So if you've got this little business going out here, yours is not going to slide off. Well, shouldn't. We'll see, huh? All right, so let's, should this be the spout or should this be the handle? We could do, this is probably the biggest part, so let's do the handle from this and see how we do. So you're going to drill all the way to the bottom, to the bat, and make sure you even out your little walls. There's something in the clay. So and I usually, when I'm doing a demo, I'm concentrating more on the form than I am on showing you how to decorate stuff. I feel like most people don't need help on decorating, but maybe in future videos I'll concentrate more on just doing some kind of design on them. And of course you can do it with glaze too. Sometimes it's not good to just totally rely on the glaze because because you can get so much more if you have texture and glaze. If all you have is glaze, it looks good, but just don't limit yourself. Okay, we're gonna stick that all the way, whoa, in there. Let's slow down a little. I may be able to get that drawn out a little more. And you want the tube, cylinder, whatever you want to call it, to be, you're going to be grabbing hold of it, you know, like this. This part down here is probably the part that you're going to attach to the pot, and then this is going to be the handle. Keep in mind, that's going to shrink. So you might say, well, whoa, that looks pretty big, but you want it to be a good handful, because you don't want to drop or lose your grip on a pot of tea, right, when you're turning it or pouring it or something. So I think that looks good. And when I make a bunch of teapots, I'll make a bunch of these, and I don't ever put them together till they're all ready to go, and then you can decide which handle goes best with which teapot. But then I've made them one at a time too. Let me get this little very ergonomic, these kind of teapots. Okay, so that's all you do to that. And I use newspaper in my studio instead of paper towels. Paper towels are outrageously expensive, especially at the rate we need to use them. I just cut the newspaper up and I use it several times. When it gets all soggy and torn up, I just throw it away. But that's a good thing to do with the advertising and stuff that you get in the mail all the time. Okay, so this is going to be the spout. We're going to go down to the bat. Zzz. Okay. Widen it out at the bottom a little bit because you want a good sized strainer on your teapot, and so you don't want to limit yourself to the size of the attachment there. Okay. Okay, let's slow it down. Start coning it in. I mean, collaring it in, not coning it in. Boy, I love that water warmer. It is so great to have your hands in warm water when the temperature is about 35 right now. It isn't that cold inside because I finally figured out how to get my kerosene heater working. It has batteries in it. No instructions, just batteries. I mean, just discovered there's a place for batteries. Actually, I discovered the batteries, they were dead. And so you're making a spout that is going to be probably taller than you need and everything, but you're going to cut some stuff away from this, and I'll show you that when we start to assemble this. But basically you make a little volcano that's got a hole in it all the way down to the bat. Now, I like for my spouts to have a little girdle in and then a little graceful out at the top. So I'm going to work that. Now I've got one of these yellow ribs that I was telling you about that I like so much. They're flexible and they do what I want them to do. Get rid of that. You don't want a spout that's thick and heavy. You want it to do the job and be heavy enough, but it's just kind of weird to have a spout that's clunky. It just isn't right. 0.3 or something like that on the pounds for this type of clay. Alright, I like that better. And I like a clean pouring spout. I do not like spouts that dribble. And if you see the other videos that I have a solution for spouts that dribble, like pots that people give you that you didn't make. Or just little novelty teapots that are so cute you have to have it, but you don't want it to dribble if you use it. I mean, okay, let's girdle this in more. Right here. Okay. You can leave those throwing marks in there if you like them. A lot of people do. You know that a teapot spout and handle, and of course even the pot to some degree, will untwist as it's firing. So you also, and I'll show you how to consider that when you're applying a teapot spout. There's a lot to making a teapot. It isn't one of the beginner projects usually. Maybe it's a good project to prove a point, though. Sometimes, you know, somebody just wants one real bad and they want to try to make one. I think more power to them. But generally, it turns out better if they have some experience with other things first. But, you know, who am I? Stand in the way of somebody who's really got a desire to make teapots. And I say, give it a whirl. Try it. Don't ever say, I can't do it. Alright, I'm going to take this and turn it upside down. Now we're going to try to get a little bit of slurry off of the inside because you want a smooth surface on the inside of your spout. Otherwise, it can change the flow of the water and you may have a funky pouring. The water may do some weird things while it's trying to come out the spout or the tea. And there's just so many things to consider. Hydraulics, I guess you might. This is a study of water flow. And if you really want to get crazy insane about it, you can do some research on the internet and find out way more than you wanted to know, which is what I did. I know. I'm a teacher, so what do I know? What do I do? I can't help it. I need to find out everything because my kids ask me the strangest questions sometimes, and I need to know how to answer. Alright, we got the inside smooth so that the hydraulic flow will be good and won't be funky and twirly and squirrely. And clean this up around the bottom so we can get it off. And ta-da! Now this, I'm going to throw off the hump. These are going to be little tiny bowls. You might even be able to call them a tea strainer. This is going to be a little tiny sort of disc, slightly concave, convex if you're on the other side of it. And I'm going to poke holes in it, and it will be stuck at the bottom of the whatchamacallit. It'll be stuck at the bottom of the spout and become a little strainer of sorts from between the body of the teapot and the spout. So I'm going to pull that off of there just like that. So there's just a little bowl kind of thing. I'll be trimming it. I'll just set it aside, make another one. You can make a teapot that doesn't have any kind of obstruction there. You can poke holes in the side of the body. But I've seen this done in Europe, and I thought it was very neat. Just a real nice, professional looking way of finishing the thing off. And make sure you get under there so you're not cutting your finger off. There we go. So I'm just going to set that aside, and when it's drier, probably leather hard, then we'll probably be trimming it on the wheel or trimming it somehow. It's a little tiny thing, and poking some holes in it. So what if you wanted to make a spout off, just throwing it off the hump here? So you drill down into it. You wouldn't go all the way to the bat, but you just gather up enough clay that you'd have enough clay to make a spout. Pull your cylinder up. Make sure that you get enough width down here at the bottom, and you can push it out from the inside if you need to get it. And then we're gonna push it in. You don't want to try to do that all in one throw or all in one pull, because it will only take so much, and then you gotta draw back and let it recover. I like the graceful line of that. Okay, so I'll wipe off the outside. And slow her down. Well, let's see, we need a shorter stick. And then, so I've got plenty of I've got plenty of space down here to trim it and everything. So then you just take it off the hump and put it on some other piece of something to dry on or to get set up on. And that's about it. So now we're gonna let it set up and we'll trim, and I'll bring you in on the trimming, especially of those little strainers. Okay. Love you. Bye.